Everyone, iOS 16.1 has officially came out, so let's go and take a look at it on the iPhone 12 and see if it's worth installing this specific update. Now this update actually came in a fairly large size. It definitely wasn't the smallest size of all time, but it's weird because I guess I didn't screenshot it, but I will tell you, coming from my previous version of software on a majority of my iPhones, I was getting about a 4.5 to about 5 gigabyte update size, but that was because I was installing the beta, and usually when you install the beta, it like reinstalls a whole version of software. If you're coming from iOS 15, it's going to be roughly around that size. If you're coming from iOS 16.0, and honestly might be that size too, but 16.0.3, it's probably going to be less than a gigabyte, so keep that in mind, but we'll kind of wait and see what happens. Now, I will say on top of that, there are tons of improvements here. The first thing being, on your iPhone 12, you are getting that little shared iCloud photo library experience, so it is a new cool feature. So we've had different things like this before, but we now have this at a higher level, which is really cool. So that is a really cool thing that we're getting here. But one of my favorite things within this new version of software is actually with our live activities for third-party applications. So iOS 16 actually brought in live activities, which basically will give us a notification, and it will update that notification rather than giving us a constant like 50 notification, bombarding us with all that stuff. We will now have just one notification and it will update constantly. So that is a really cool thing, and I'm actually really happy to see that. Case in point, if you're watching like a basketball game or a football game, the scores will automatically update by themselves without having you do anything, and that is a really cool thing, and it'll be one constant notification. Now, another cool thing that we have with our iPhone 14, not necessarily with our 12, is reachability for the dynamic island. So if you're rocking an iPhone 14 Pro, like this one, you'll basically have the dynamic island, and it'll go ahead and reach down on this version of software, which is actually really, really cool. Now on top of that, another very interesting thing is actually within our iPhone battery settings. So if we go and click on our battery option here, if we go and click on battery health and charging, we will now have this new little option at the bottom that says clean energy charging. So what this does basically is it'll go ahead and I'm assuming it's going to reduce our carbon footprint. That's kind of what this says. Now I don't know how they do it. I guess you can read into this and kind of figure it out from there. But essentially what we'll basically be able to do is reduce, I guess what they're doing is going to, it's clean energy charging, so take it as you will. I would be curious to see how this affects battery life, battery health, as well as just standard battery charging, how long it takes to charge up your battery. I don't think it's going to have that big an effect, and I'm going to probably keep mine on for the time being. So the main question is, should you go and update this version of software? And I'll probably tell you, if you're on iOS 16 as of right now, I would 100% recommend updating. That it makes the most amount of sense for me, and that is probably where I would recommend most people to just go. If you're on iOS 16.0 or above, just please go ahead and update your phone. However, if you're currently on iOS 6.15, then I would probably recommend just staying there, and I probably would recommend kind of staying there. If you're on iOS 15, I would probably recommend, going, and I would probably recommend staying there and maybe updating after. But if you're on 16, I would probably recommend updating as of right now. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.